The views and opinions expressed in this podcast do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Acuma, its board of directors, its management staff, or its members. The podcast discussion presented is conversational in nature and for general information only.
This is Acuma's On Point Podcast. On today's episode, we're sitting down with a friend of Acuma, gaining his insights on the market and our opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hello and welcome to Acuma's On Point Podcast. I'm your host, Peter Benjamin. Today's episode is the first of our new format where we will also discuss real-world issues impacting credit unions right now. But don't worry, we will continue to have conversations with people making a positive impact in our industry as well. We will definitely continue on with that little fun game at the end of every single episode. So let's jump into it. Today, I am joined by Bill Bodner, founder and CRO with Tabrasa. Bill, my friend, how you doing?
Thank you for having me, Peter. Happy New Year.
You too, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so Bill, as I mentioned, we're going to be discussing, the secondary market, and really, the broader economic environment. More specifically, how it can impact credit unions. Excited for this conversation. But as always, before we get too much further, gotta step off to the side. Gotta bring Justin the Hawk in to kind of give us all the latest and greatest of happening over at Acuma. So Justin, Hawk, how are you doing? And what is the latest and greatest happening over at Acuma?
I'm good, Peter. How are you?
Living the dream.
All right. I love it. Well, I've said it already, but we're underway. Registration for the Viewpoint Regional Summits has already opened. That opened last month. So if you haven't registered, there's still plenty of time. This year, we're heading to 3 different locations. So we're going to be in Dallas, Texas, March 24th and 25th, St. Louis, Missouri, April 14th and 15th, and Baltimore, Maryland, April 28th and 29th. Like last year, we're going to have some fun experiences.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have a night at the Honky Tonk in Dallas. We'll have the St. Louis Brew Experience in St. Louis, and the Guinness Gathering in Baltimore. So
there's no theme whatsoever.
Not at all. I mean, between like honky tonks and breweries, and they might serve beer at all 3. It's cool. They'll also have boxed wine, maybe for those on our team that love boxed wine.
Nope. That's not part of the the budget.
No. All right. Well, we tried.
Yeah.
But it'll be a good time either way, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm curious how many people are going to show up in their booths, though.
No,
that's the thing.
Hey, and you forgot that our special guest today is a speaker at the summits, right?
No, I didn't forget that. He's speaking
a couple times. Yeah,
2 of them.
Anheuser Busch. I'll be at the CQ. It's my buddy Mark Dietz. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Good.
That's right. He'll be in Baltimore and was in St. Louis with us. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. So that'll be exciting. So if you enjoy the conversation, and even if you don't enjoy the conversation, still come see us because we're just awesome people.
That's right. And it's free. And
it's free. That's we cannot stress that enough. Credit Union QSO members, it is free for you to attend. So come have fun, take in the educational content. You will not be sad that you made that as a choice. You will be sad if you miss it. Okay. Outside of our summit, though, our workshop registration is opening next week. All right. So this year we're going to be hosting one workshop. It's going to be in San Diego, California. So we have 2 full days of content. Come out and join us there. I'm not sure if it's the beginning of summer or the end of spring, but either way, I'm sure San Diego might have warmer weather than most of some parts of the other country. So
it's like the second week. It's like the second week in May, right? Something like that.
Yeah. May 12th and 13th.
We'll call that spring. I feel like summer doesn't start to Memorial Day.
Do you think we could coin sprummer?
No. Keep going.
Come on. We were so close. All right. And then outside of that, so we have our virtual meetings. So we have our YPN quarterly meeting, Q1 meeting happening February 11th at 1 p.m. Eastern, and our volume-based network meetings. They're going to be happening February 18th at 1 p.m. And last but not least, we have our webinar series and our On Point podcast happening all year long.
All right, good deal. Appreciate it. All right, Billy.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I feel like I love the fact that we are starting off, the new season with the On Point podcast with you, season number 4, and taking it in this direction where we really focus on more technical things. And and the second part of the reason why I love this is that we're going to be focusing on a conversation that I feel that, or a topic that I feel like a lot of credit unions, do well, but more so importantly, this is a topic that a lot of credit unions don't do well. Like they're just clueless, and they kind of sort of go blind into this. And that's really, the economy, secondary market.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's out of fear or fear of the unknown, or it's just too technical for them. They don't have the expertise. I don't know. But I love the fact that we're starting this conversation with you today. Now I'm kind of going to jump around in my questions, so please forgive me. But, first things first, I think the most important question is, how has the current economic environment or conditions, how does that really influence a credit union's mortgage strategy and really risk tolerance going into 26? I think let's start with that. And by the way, feel free to kind of paint like a Picasso for me of the current economic conditions before you answer that question.
Yep. So it's great to be here with you both. So I think first, let's take a step back. Last year, and there's a lot that is misunderstood, Peter, because there's a lot of noise out there. We've been together now 4 years, and even doing a bunch of events together. And, we try to make this stuff relatable. And part of the problem, the challenge that we had last year, is that there was a lot of doom and gloom. I mean, I remember doing all these talks. Everybody was telling us we were supposed to have stagflation, a recession, tariffs was supposed to create runaway inflation. None of it manifested. In fact, mortgages, like just mortgage pricing in and of itself, had like its best year since like the Great Recession, when we came out and it fixed mark to market. That was a good year, 2009. This may have been the next good year. So when you look at the fact that bond prices improved all year long, and the spread between mortgages, and we'll talk about this more through our call, and the spread between mortgages and a 10-year note narrowed back to, here we are now at historic levels, right back to historic levels. It was an amazing year for the mortgage business, or just for the mortgages. And then when you couple that with the stuff that's going into this year, I think for credit unions and anybody out there talking to a client, there's this challenge of what the media puts out there. And remember, the media, I think one of the things we always start our talks with is that the media is not designed to say, hey, Peter, thanks for tuning in. Things are great. See you next week. It always has to have this doom and gloom. And when they talk about our world, the media doesn't touch on it. So I'm very much interested in going a little bit deeper into some of this, because you can't get this from the news. Like if you listen to the news to get what's happening, my God, you turn off in 3 minutes, you feel like the world is ending, and it just hasn't. I mean, last year was a good year, and I see a lot of good stuff happening. And hopefully we talk about affordability and all these things, because I think there's some great tailwinds going into this year. But one of the things when you talk about risk, the economic factors, there's still uncertainty. And with uncertainty, we want growth, right? Credit unions want to build, take on some growth, but there's still inflation's a little bit sticky north of the Fed's goal. The economy, we're not sure where it is. Even the labor market, right? The jury's still out. There's no hiring, there's no firing, and there's no quitting. So what's the next step for the labor market is what I would encourage all the credit unions to remind themselves. Jobs buy homes. What we can't have is the labor market fall apart. I don't think that's happening either. So I think that there's probably a little bit, after a really good year, there's probably an excitement. I see a lot of excitement in the industry going out and speaking at these credit union events. But there's a little bit, it's a cautious optimism because it's just the economy. It's not sure where we're headed next.
All right. So, and I appreciate you framing it up as, a cautious, optimistic. I was having a conversation with, a mutual friend, Skip Wilcox, the other day. And, he asked a kind of sort of that same question, what do you foresee like in 26? And my response was, listen, I think there's basically going to be the same thing you said, cautious, optimistic. But I do think come March, we'll start seeing another good year, right? People are going to start coming out a little bit more than what they have in the past.
Agree.
And I think we're going to have a solid year. And I'm hoping that the rumors that I'm hearing that, you know, credit unions had a better year than what we think they did from a mortgage perspective.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that that rumor is true and that it's reflected in credit unions really investing in their mortgage operations, investing in, the growth, et cetera. Now, are there any positive influences that are happening right now in the current economic environment? Are there just some good stories in your opinion, or good topics in your opinion? You're just thinking, hey, the headwinds are behind us. We're now on the tailwinds. We're being pushed along. What are some of those things that you're seeing that are positive?
So, great question. And I think credit unions, by the way, are really doing great. And I'm hearing a lot talk about investing in this year. But to your question, I think housing affordability has now become it's the elephant in the room.
Yeah,
and it's probably the largest economic, societal, and now political issue. So the good thing is, ideas are getting discussed. Are they all great? No, I would not sign up for a 50-year mortgage. But
no.
What I'm excited for everybody listening to this call in the credit union space is that directionally, a lot is getting thrown at it, including even the institutional buying of homes. That's going to help in hot pockets, right? Is it going to help everywhere? No. Is it a magic bullet? No. The buying of mortgage-backed securities, that has already narrowed the spread significantly. Thank God, with the 10-year note about 420 again. That's a good thing. And now we're hearing, Peter, using the tax code, whether it be using a 401k without penalty to do a down payment. I mean, there's things that we can do. Maybe even the capital gains. You can use the tax code to inspire movement. So I'm excited that it's getting talked about and that there's ideas getting thrown out. Are they all great? No. Are they all the magic bullet? No. But directionally, they're all tailwinds for us. And when you couple that with lower rates, a growing economy, this first half of the year, Peter, no one talks about this. We are going to have the largest tax refund in the history of our country. It's going to be like an extra $500 billion. It's going to feel amazing because it's retroactive to last year, plus the business investment. It's really a good story. So there's great economic tailwinds, plus this idea of tackling housing. It's reason to be very optimistic. The way I frame it, last year was better than 24, and 26 is going to be better than 25.
Okay. No, I think that's great. And which I think is perfect. And it kind of leads into my next question, right? And I always kind of, whenever we're at this point in time where we've had these, you and I both know, the mortgage industry, the economy, everything has a cycle, right?
Yep.
And let's say we're finally at that point where we are about to go over the edge and start heading in a better path, right? And so we're at the peak and we're getting ready to go downhill, almost like a roller coaster, that first hill on the roller coaster. So when you think about it, and this could be a positive or negative, you could frame it up however you so choose, Bill. But when you think of one or two things that credit unions should be paying closer attention to that could decide, is this going to be a continued uphill battle, or is it going to be, are we going to start speeding up because we're going downhill? I know it's a tough question, but are there one or two things that you'd say you have to pay attention to this because depending on the direction, it's going to influence the markets?
Well, it's a great question. The one thing we've always talked about is the debt. And so, and the debt is not just here, it's global. And the bond market is global. When this was recorded, we're looking at Japan staring at some of the highest rates in their history. They're on the long end. Talk about 30-year paper, it's the highest ever. And even their 10-year paper is at levels we haven't seen since 1998. So and why? Because they're having, and I remember we did an Acumen event years ago when Liz Truss had her moment, right? She came out, the UK, and said, hey, we're going to give tax refunds, this and that. Bond market said no. Well, Japan is having that moment right now. And I just worry that everybody has this version of a big, beautiful bill, but no means to pay for it. And the bond market is having their way by pushing rates higher. And it makes it hard for us to separate ourselves from that. The good news is that we always remain the cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry when compared to other countries. We always just seem to get it done. I mean, coming out of the Great Recession, coming out of the pandemic, we always seem to outshine. I'd like to think we're going to do it again, but it's not going to be without volatility. And if you don't, if the folks listening and their team and secondary and their marketing and their mortgage team don't understand what's moving the market, that it could be what's happening in Japan and Germany, it could be at their detriment. And I think when you're having conversations, especially in a declining interest rate environment, you have to be able to show, what's going on. Like, what are the fits and starts? And that's what's going to happen. We're going to have fits and starts. We are in a declining interest rate environment, but it's not going to be a straight line, as evidence as to what we're going through here at the beginning of the year.
I know this wasn't, kind of on our list of questions, but remember the good old days where you could look at the 10-year and really determine how our market was doing, or more specifically mortgages.
Absolutely.
Are we getting back to that point where you could use the 10-year as a solid barometer for where mortgage interest rates are going?
Yes. And the reason why reason why I'm saying that now is because the spread, that is the natural spread between the mortgages and the 10-year note, is back to historical standards, right? Like during the pandemic, post-pandemic, when things got wild and everybody was worried about people being unemployed and all that, we went to 300 basis points. So when the 10-year note was 5, mortgages were 8. That is now narrowed right back to the historical level of about 170 basis points. So the only way mortgage rates get better is if the spread narrows beyond historical standards, right? We go to maybe 150 basis points. But if the 10-year note keeps inching higher, it's taking mortgages with it. So I would absolutely be looking at the 10-year note, where over the last month, you didn't have to look at the 10-year note as much because mortgages were outperforming. But now that's over, right? Remember, they're talking about buying $200 billion worth of mortgages to help with mortgage rates, but that spread is already narrowed to historical standards. So I would be watching 10-year note, and I would be watching to see the announcement and the execution of mortgage bonds and how mortgages perform relative to the 10-year note. But I think it's, it used to be, like you said, real easy to look at the 10-year note. I think we're back to that in some degree just because it's spread now.
Okay. That is good news. Now, one thing I love about your presentations and kind of just always being in the audience or having you at our events and your presentations is the main theme of your presentation is reading the market, right? This is how you read the market. This is what you look for. So this question is really going, along those lines, based off what you're seeing, when you travel around the country or speak to different credit unions. Is there something that credit unions are looking at that they may be misreading or maybe even a missed opportunity for them? Is there just something that is causing them to have pause, like they're just misreading and they're not looking at the market the way they should be? Obviously, specifically as it relates to mortgage, that's all we really care about, right? I don't.
Yeah.
As much as I want to talk auto, I don't care.
I think last year we did really well despite the media telling us it was going to be, everything was really bad. Like you almost had to resist the urge. And so one of the things that I would encourage people to do is, and one of the things that we look at, and I think it would be great for anybody listening to watch, is I have toned down my views of consumer sentiment and consumer confidence. You can't ignore them, but you can't hang your hat on, because if you listen to these reports, Peter, they're so darn negative. Feel like you would think, oh my God, am I in a parallel universe? Because I'm going around, everybody's buying stuff. And what I watch instead, and when they talk about is now a good time to buy, you have to watch pending home sales and the MBA mortgage applications, right? There's 3 things. Obviously, we need low rates, and we've gotten that to a degree. But you look at the application and the pending home sales. The last pending home sales was a 3-year high. Mortgage apps were up 29% week over week. That tells you people are in action. Don't listen to media. Don't listen to the noise. You look at those 2 metrics, and you now have to market to your database. And don't wait for the media to tell you, oh, crap, we were wrong. Things are actually really good. And you need to go out. Rates are low, because then they're out there and they're shopping everywhere but the credit union. You need to get out in front of that. And that's probably an opportunity where you can bifurcate from what the media and the pundits on TV and the so-called economist experts are telling you what's happening. You have to watch what people are doing.
No, I love that answer. I mean, and I think it's spot on, right? If we were to base our decisions as a financial institution on whether or not we grow mortgage or invest in mortgage or even have a mortgage division off consumer confidence or sentiment, we're very much missing the boat.
100%.
I love that. All right. So last question before we kind of make that transition to the second segment. When you think about 2026, what truly matters now for mortgage lending versus what's just simple noise?
Well, I think it kind of goes back to a little bit about what we just shared. People are feeling better. People are seeing the rates come down. People have moved past the tariff. I mean, we're getting some right now as we talk. There was supposed to be this doom and gloom, but that seemed to have gone by. And people are now hearing every other day about this idea that we're going to do things to help with housing. And we have to remember that housing, Peter, makes up 18% of our economy. We're having a good economy despite no housing. So I would resist the urge to get caught up in the news where they say, well, if this happens, then that could happen. But just forget all that. Watch people in action. And I would encourage you to even look around. Like if you look around, I always joke, you want to see what's going on, look in your neighborhood, look what's happening, and then watch those indicators on apps and stuff. That tells you things are moving. Because if you wait for someone to tell you good news on the media or people on TV, pundits from either side, you're going to be waiting a while. Right? You got to parse through that noise and see what's actually happening. And I'm very, very excited because it just shows how resilient our economy is. And when you couple all that with what I know is going to happen in the next couple of months with this monster tax refund of an additional $500 billion hitting the economy, it's really tough not to be very excited for the folks listening to this call. We're going to have, again, it's not going to be a straight line, but directionally, everything is coming our way. I mean, the whole thing is about all I hear from a fiscal policy, Peter, is we are attacking housing affordability. Last I checked, everybody on this call is trying to figure out how to do a mortgage or sell a HELOC. By the way, that's the other thing. HELOC business for the credit unions are going to have another banner year. They're going to kill it on the HELOC side. Why not? I mean, the equity, I think, is $36 trillion. That's a lot of equity. 70% of the numbers are huge on how much equity is there. So, and credit unions are obviously poised in a unique spot on the HELOC side. They own the HELOC space.
Absolutely. So, again, I really enjoyed, our conversation. And I love what you just said. And in many ways, I'm going to translate it to a more simplified term. Don't worry about what the media says about where the economy is going. It's almost to that point where we know we have the tools in place to kind of get a good sense of where we're going. The 10-year.
Yeah.
But I would also add in applications.
100%.
So look at your applications. Don't worry about the media saying, we're about to head into a recession. Listen, if people are still applying, that's all. That's golden.
That's all
right?
you need. They have a better handle of the media than the media. They should be telling the media what's going on because they have the information right at their fingertips. People are in motion. And by the way, Peter, one last thing I got to share. I like Lawrence Yun at NAR. Sharp guy, very positive, rooted in reality. And life goes on. I mean, at some point, is 26 the year that life finally goes on, right? You got divorce, you got death, you got people want to move on. The lock-in effect, if you do things with the tax code to inspire people to move, I think we can have a real surprise to the upside. Certainly not to the downside.
Well, fingers crossed on a good year. Yes. I know all of our members have been patiently waiting for that. Yeah. So, Bill, thank you very much for this. But it's now time to transition to the second segment of our podcast. It's where sometimes we do Jeopardy, sometimes we do dad jokes, and our new one of wrong answers only. But today we're going back to a tried and true game of Jeopardy. So bear with me as I pull my Jeopardy board into the screen. Now here we are, first part of February. Bill, one of my favorite movies of all time is Groundhog Day. Love Groundhog Day. It's a great movie. It's funny. Bill Murray is spot on and amazing in it.
He really is.
So to that point, we're going to play a little Groundhog Day Jeopardy in honor of it happening in February. Let's go. All right. So in front of you, Bill and Justin, is our standard Jeopardy board. Points ranging from 100 to 500. Categories are Groundhog Day facts, Groundhog Day facts, Groundhog Day facts, Groundhog Day facts, and Groundhog Day facts. Every single category is Groundhog Day facts. So we'll just go column 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So say 5, category 5 for 400, if that's what you're going to ask, just knowing that everything is Groundhog Day facts. You'd be surprised how difficult it was to kind of find a Groundhog Day or Groundhog fact or Jeopardy board. So I did not make this up. So we'll see what happens. So for the sake of this, Bill, you are team 1. Justin is team 2. We're going to go column 1 to column 5 and points from 100 to 500. Bill, fire away.
I'll go column 5 for 100. I'll start right at the top.
Column 5.
And I hope it's easy. I went with 1 because I'm hoping it starts easy because I think I'm going to get smoked.
All right. And I forgot. This one has multiple choice.
Oh, thank God.
About how long does a groundhog live?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've seen them in my yard and they're a pain in the, you know what. And I wish it were sometimes a week, but they live, they're not forever, although they seem forever. I am going to go with D, 10 years.
Okay, D, 10 years. Now, please forgive me. I forgot to list it.
Yep.
A was forever, B, 4 years, C, 6 years, and D, 10 years. Bill, you're going with 10 years. Justin, would you like to steal before I reveal the answer?
No.
Okay. The correct answer is, what is 6 years? I did not know
That's what
that.
I was going to go with too. When in doubt, Charlie out.
As long as every answer to this is C, we're good to go.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sorry, Bill, I'm deducting 100, but it's a smart move on your part. All right, Justin, where are we going?
We're going to go column 3 for 300.
All right, Groundhog Day facts, column 3 for 300. What? Oh, this is, by the way, this is kind of sort of fill in the blank. What is the 4th letter in the word G Day?
So are you counting the letter that it shows?
I'm assuming yes.
You.
Sure about that? Bill, would you like to steal?
I think I have to concur with that.
Okay. The correct answer is, what is the letter U? Congratulations, Justin.
Nice.
You.
Folks listening, I think this is fixed. They gave it a layup.
Justin
Yeah, I think
knows how
that
to
your
spell.
question was probably more of the 300 level.
He went with $300 question.
For a letter.
That's right. Bill, where are we going?
Okay. I will go with right there. Column 1.
Column 1, 200. A dark area is made when an object is blocking a light source.
Is that true or false?
No.
It's not really a question.
I think it's asking,
Let's just say, what is a shadow?
Dark, what is a shadow? Okay.
What is a shadow?
Justin, do you want to steal?
No.
Can you give me that?
I actually think that he's right.
What is a shadow?
Wow.
Nice job, Bill. Nice job. Back to the positive. All right, Justin, where are we going?
We're going to go column 4 for 300.
Groundhog facts for 300, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. What part of the groundhog never stops growing? Is it A, fur, B, teeth, C, tail?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Let's go with B, teeth.
Okay. Bill, would you like to steal?
Now, if I try to steal, does it mean I have to, and I fumble it? I get a zilch.
Yep.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I'm not sure if the teeth is the beaver in him, but it feels like it might be right. I've never seen a 10-foot tail on a thing. So I'm going to just leave it alone. Let Justin have it.
All right. The correct answer is.
All right.
Who would have known that Justin was a groundhog expert?
Yeah. He really
To be
boned
honest,
up on
I had
this.
2 really good questions.
He boned up on this.
He did. All right, Bill, your turn.
Bill, you're gonna have to step it up and quit going for these 1s and 2s.
Yeah, I'm going to go row 5, 500.
Row 500, groundhog facts for 500. Groundhogs have a different number of toes on their front and back feet. True or false?
I'm going to go with true.
Okay. Justin, do you want to say false?
No.
Okay. All right. The correct answer is true. Groundhogs have 4 front toes and 5 back toes, just like other members of the squirrel family.
So it's a squirrel family.
Well, look at that. We just learned something else.
Look at that. So
Hopefully
far.
the next question says what member family are they?
All right, Justin, go.
All right. I'm gonna go with column 2 for 400.
All right, Groundhog Day facts for 400.
Mhm.
What is the 7th? Give me a fucking. What is the 7th letter in the word G Day?
H.
The correct answer is. What is the letter H?
All right.
Wow, too bad it wasn't 500.
Yes, sir. All right. At the end of however many rounds we've just done, I have Bill at 600 and Justin at 1,000. This will be our final round. Bill, where are we going?
I'm going hard. Row 4, 500.
Groundhog facts for 500. This is where groundhogs live.
I'll go with what is the ground?
Justin?
No, I'm not stealing.
Okay. Correct answer is, what is a burrow?
What is the burrow in the ground? I don't know. You got to lean in. Are you gonna shoot me or you?
Sorry, Bill. I'll give it to you.
Are you
New Year's resolution, nicer Peter.
There you go. I like
okay?
All right. Justin.
See, now I'm all flustered. You know why?
What is the first letter in the word groundhog?
I know.
man,
Like,
you're gonna go through the whole alphabet with that one.
Seriously.
I'm gonna go with column 1 for 300.
Column 1, 300. Groundhog Day facts. The famous Groundhog Day event take place.
Damn it! I know
this.
everybody else knows this.
Nope.
You're looking for city and state.
No, just give me a city.
Ooh, okay. Like Hoduxton.
I'm stealing this one. Justin's fumbling it.
Yeah, I don't know the answer. It's like Potuxton.
He can't see it on the podcast. His brain's melting.
Yeah. Oh man, I was gonna win.
Give me an answer.
Potuxton. I don't even think that's a real place.
All right. Justin says Poctuston. Bill, you stealing?
I am.
All right.
Poxitani?
Oh my gosh, see, I was so close.
Poxitani, Pennsylvania, right?
Pennsylvania, yeah. Could have kept going.
The correct answer is, what is Pennsylvania? I'm going to take it. Bill. Congratulations. Sorry, Justin. Poxton.
Hey, look, I was close.
So I'm probably got to do preservation mode. How many more questions, Peter? 1?
Well, that was it. We wrapped up.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
you
Look
won.
at that.
Yeah, at the end of this episode's round of Jeopardy, On Point Jeopardy, we have Bill with 1,400 and Justin with 700. Justin, you
I think
almost had it.
I know, but I think that Bill might actually have set the highest score.
I think so.
Like, yeah, it's pretty bad. Like, no, we usually don't score very high on these things.
Well,
I
Bill,
think 1,400 might have done it.
thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Acma's On Point podcast. This was fantastic. No better way to kick off season 4 and kind of the new and improved pod. Again, my friend, thank you for everything you do for the credit union community, Acma, and hope to see you soon at an upcoming event.
Thank you very much, guys. Great being here.
Of course. And Justin, thank you.
Of course, it was my pleasure.
And to all of you, we know your time is valuable. Thank you for tuning in to the latest episode of Acma's On Point podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, be well, my friends.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time at the Acma On Point podcast. If not already, be sure to subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. For more great episodes and information, be sure to visit us online at acuma.org. And to get the latest updates, head over to our LinkedIn page.